Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with an overview of the Shadow King Trials now that the event has returned in its entirety for the remainder of the week. We're going to go through all the teams that I've used now that it's more up to date for the month of July here. But more importantly, guys, I also want to point out too, you don't need to actually complete all 10 nodes to accumulate and achieve all the rewards that are available. As you can see, you can in fact complete 9 nodes here, reaching a 1.17 million score, and that actually does give you all the available rewards, including the 4 red on Shadow King, as well as all the stars being available here for him. A little bit of crimson gear kind of getting sprinkled here and there, as well as in addition to some ISOE purple. But yeah, let me walk you guys through this real quickly here. The packs that I've been able to activate, and on top of that, the teams that were successful for myself. And what I've tried to do this every single time, guys, before I start is talk about this node right here. This node 4 is how I see as a mini bottleneck, because if you're not prepared properly here on this node before you start, it's going to be very, very painful, because you'll probably have to throw in a lot of different teams just to get rid of the Sentinels. Now, the key to achieving this success in this node specifically is getting Nightcrawler ready from node 1. How do you get him ready? Well, just make sure that you use him in node 1 and make sure that his ultimate is ready to go, because that's how you're going to be able to counter the Sentinels. If you don't have Nightcrawler built up, you might have to just use some multiple Brawler non-mythic characters getting thrown in there to just sponge some attacks and whatnot, but that's how we've been able to do it in the past. Nightcrawler, obviously being part of Extreme, is no longer relevant, but they're still being used sparingly in the daily Chaos Storm raid. So I mean, he still has a bit of value, but the mutant section for those raids is the next section that I do see getting replaced. So just something to be mindful of there. Nightcrawler is a solid investment though, because he does still have synergy with the X-Men characters. So just wanted to drop that disclaimer there before we start talking about that node. Now, more importantly, before we get started here, let me show you the packs that you're going to be able to activate. Mods in this case here, they always use different terminologies, but the mods here are going to be respectively what you need to ensure that when you're doing this at difficulty 15, completing the 9 nodes, you will actually be able to get all the rewards. Now, guys, if you're looking for the individual gameplay and strategy of the nodes, I'll have all that linked below with lower team levels. Obviously, as we grow in our roster, our teams and characters get stronger and stronger, so this is not a representation of what you'll be needing to build to fully complete this. I've done difficulty at 15 at lower team levels, and I do have the gameplay for that, so just check the videos below if you want to see the overall strategy. That has not changed. It's just our characters obviously have gotten stronger over time. So, overall mods being total of 85. We have Villainous Momentum, which gives hero characters additional speed bar. We have to make sure that we have the Cosmic Crucible and Arena bonuses being active. So that's Are You Not Entertained, and then Forged in Fire. These are very, very important because they're going to make the rest of your team gel and function. If you don't have those active, that could be the reason why you're stuck or not progressing further with some of the synergies that you're seeing with your team. We have Dark Cosmic Rays, giving cosmic villain characters additional crit chance for every positive effect they have. Just lets us run a little bit more smoother. Bio villain characters defeating an enemy, getting additional heal for HP there. And then lastly, we have player character healing is reduced by 20%, because trust me, you won't be needing a lot of healing with this run through, especially some of the characters and teams that we're using for the synergies. So, Node 1 preparation. Again, as I pointed to earlier, Nightcrawler, make sure you have him. Doesn't really matter what other team you have here. You can prep some of the other teams you'll be needing. For example, the Illuminati Annihilators could be a good one, but for me, I just like to hit auto and then make sure that my Nightcrawler is not using his ability. So got Old Man Logan carrying the Frontier, in addition to a little bit of my Jean Grey from the Immortal X-Men Uncanny, and as well the last remnants of the Extreme X-Men team, because why not? They have good synergy. Node 2. You don't actually have a choice here. You have to bring in the Illuminati, but what I found the best version of this team is using the new 3-piece in addition to Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic. So Black Panther Shuri, Hank Pym, as well as Captain Britain, they're going to be carrying the load. The bigger you have them, the better, but as you can see, Gear Tier 19 is where I took them. Gear Tier 19 is probably what I would recommend to do this node, because it can get a little finicky, especially with that devastating Green Goblin classic at the very end. Just something to be watchful there. Again, I got the gameplay footage if you guys need to watch that play-by-play. Mission 3, Global Villain. The global villain section for the legendary trials is actually one of the easiest. You can just use an abundance of different characters. Personally, you can bring in the full Orcus team. You can bring in Cabal. Remember, they have their Crucible bonuses thanks to the trial packs that we've activated. And then that's why you see Cabal in addition to some of the other members we'll be using, like Lady Deathstrike, as well as Nimrod. Remember, you need these characters already for your daily raid, so it just makes sense to leverage them. And no, you don't need them all geared to 19. I've definitely done this with lower levels, respectively, especially with my Cabal. And remember, you need Cabal as well for Old Man Logan trial, so it's just double dipping value right there. We have the Brawler non-mythic that I mentioned. You start things off with the big Nightcrawler ultimate, and what I really like about this node is now we can actually bring in the assisted services here of Quasar, being all the Chapter 1 Harbinger hype, and now your investments can go full circle. He can help out with this node. I also like bringing in the other raid characters like Blade, because he's also very powerful. Remember, you need Night Stalkers in your daily raids as well, so we're just leveraging value from other investments already in the game. Mercenary or Undying trait for Mission 5. Okay, so this one gets a little interesting now. Previously, before, I would have to throw in a sack team, so my Undying characters would just be fodder, and then I would bring in my Merc for money. Now, things have changed, because we have Silver Sable actually starting things off here, and she actually does switch things up a little bit in terms of the turn order. So, if you have her, and you have her built up like myself already, remember, we need some of these key vigilante characters already for Age of X, especially the city section or even Dark Dimension itself. So Silver Sable has insane value. Use her ultimate here to kick things off, and then Old Man Logan carries the show here. So my gameplay is going to be a little different because I don't have Silver Sable actually being used in the past, but you'll see the sack attempt that I've used in the past, and this is just more efficient now because you can get through it quicker with a one-shot as opposed to using multiple attempts. Annihilators, you don't have a choice here. Again, I got the gameplay for this. This one does take a little bit of RNG, but as you can see here, what I want to highlight to your attention is, you know, obviously the new 3-piece is very important, but you don't necessarily need to bring up Silver Surfer and Ultimates. As you can see, my Surfer is gear tier 17, so he's really just saving training materials and gold and resources there, so that was kind of nice. But yeah, there's a bit of RNG to this. The key is obviously the 3-piece. Remember, it doesn't matter if anyone dies here because we're not doing the last node, so just, you know, go ham. If anyone falls, it is what it is, because you don't need to complete all of the nodes there. Okay, Mission 7, Global Villain, same story as what we saw originally in Mission 3. There's nothing to say about this. It's a joke. Cabal absolutely wrecks. And then you can bring whichever 2 global villains you like or prefer. And then back to Brawler non-mythic here for Quasar, once again, combining services with Thanos Endgame. We got Blade, Nightcrawler, and Lady Deathstrike. Now, honestly, it's an audible match. This is one of the easier nodes, and there's nothing really special about it. You can just walk through it. And then Mission 9, nothing crazy as well. Decide to bring my Silver Sable back in just because of that extra value. But with this node anyways, you definitely, I don't think my Silver Sable even got a turn. I think Old Man Logan just soloed everything. And then we have Deadpool and Panapool and Dawkins all being able to get revived with their passive synergy. So just a complete wash, guys. So there you have it. All 9 nodes at the mods here of 85 total. Able to complete all the milestones here. And like I said, you don't necessarily need to complete all 10 nodes to actually get this done. With those mods, you just have to essentially go through, and now you can see all the additional resources that we're getting, which is gold, orange, purple gear, obviously the Shadow King, which is the most important here for the rewards, and then a little bit of crimson gear sprinkled throughout as well to help us bolster our roster, and obviously the red stars. So hope this helps, guys. This is the edition for July. Let me know anything in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.